Let's get salty!
Hey everyone, Zeddy here again today with a brand new video. We got a bunch of more cards to go over, and I didn't want to wait until tomorrow. We'll cover some more tomorrow, but there's a bunch to go over, including like one of the best meme cards I think I've ever seen, as well as a potentially just ridiculous, really good neutral legendary. So let's go into it. Let's get into these cards. And first, well, let's go with the meme card. Memes are fun. And Swibe, if you haven't checked out her channel, she had a card reveal on this. Elwynn Boar was revealed. Elwynn Boar, a 1-mana 1/1 beast. This is a neutral. And Death Rattle. If you had 7 Elwynn Boars die this game, you equip a 15/3 Sword of 1,000 Truths. That is one big weapon that is 45 damage, and if you're a shaman, you can play like a Nara or whatever and give yourself Wind Fury and do 30 damage for an OTK. And again, I will reference Mark because Mark will make this work. And why doesn't Mark have a card reveal, by the way? You should check out Mark's card reveal. It's an eye-opener, and maybe I'll have something in store in the near future as well. Anyways, Elwynn Boar just looks like, you know, it doesn't look like a realistic card. You need 7 of these to die in the game, then you get a weapon, and then you can, you know, do some pretty cool stuff. And I think I love cards like this. I want more stuff like this. It's not probably competitive in any way, but my God, is this card fun? Will lead to cool highlights, will lead to interesting deck building, and will this ever be meta? I don't know. It's a Death Rattle minion you could get like back with Vectis or N'Zoth and Wild and things like that, but overall, this just seems like a really solid meme. Another nerf to first day of school, kind of, although you're probably not playing that much these days. And really cool card. But again, I'm going to give it a 1 in Standard and Wild because it's not a realistic competitive card. But hey, you can get this off Rexar as well in Wild and maybe build 7 of these, have them die or give it Echo or something. But I love these cards. Even though it's not playable or whatever, I wish we had more of these things. It's really cool. Next, we have a Shaman spell, Tiny Toys. Epic spell. Got a couple of epics going on in this video. It's a 6-mana spell. Summon 4 random 5-cost minions and you make them 2/2. And my first thought when I saw this card was, they're going to make an achievement where I have to roll the same 5-drop 4 times, aren't I? I'm going to have to roll 4 the same 5-drop. That's going to be an achievement, and I'm going to do it. It's going to drive me crazy. But overall, I mean, it's a 6-mana 8/8, which across not great statted bodies isn't fantastic. But you have to think about 5-drops. They're pretty good. You got ones that have, like, you know, effects and stuff like a Raz Frost Whisper, you have Death Rattle, you get like a Moon Fang, you can get all this stuff, but the real benefit of this is they're 4 5-drops and you can play your weapon on 5, you can play your Bog Spine Knuckles in 5, play Tiny Toys, and then get 4 full cost, not 2/2 6-drops, and that's quite the play. And will that be enough to bring Evolved Shaman back? Well, this isn't a nature spell, this is just a spell in particular, so it's gonna be hard to tutor this when you, like, Shaman's real strength now is you have the Dungeoneer, right? The Dungeoneer that draws a nature spell and an elemental, and I don't know if this will be consistent enough to be, you know, good enough for that Evolved Shaman. But maybe you just run this as a you know, throwaway spell, and if you don't hit the nature spell, oh well, but whatever. It's just so good with Evolve. It's so good with the Evolve effects, but that's it. It's like Doppelgangster on roids for 1 more mana. I'll give it a 3 in Standard just for the potential of Evolved Shaman working out, because even as a standalone card, this isn't bad in any regard. 6-mana 8/8 with possibly good effects on the 2/2s is pretty good. And in Wild, I'll give it a 3 as well, because Evolve, there's even more insanity going on in Wild with Evolve and shenanigans, and overall, it's just so good with Evolve. And even if you play it by itself, it can be half decent. So overall, just a really solid card. Next, we have a Druid Beast, Park Panther, 4-mana 4/4 with Rush. Everything is Rush. Whenever this attacks, give your hero +3 attack this turn. So this can be any, this isn't a battle cry, so if you attack the next turn, it gets +3. If it somehow is Wind Fury, it gets +6. And it kind of power creeps on that Inspire minion that was a 4-mana 5/4. You inspired and get +3 attack, and that card was pretty good back in the day. This just seems pretty good. Again, what Druid deck does this fall into? I don't think you're putting it Guardian Animals, but it's not the worst thing to cheat out in the world. And I don't know what else you'd put it into. It's not going into Token Druid. It's like a really good arena card. This card will be, Druid's getting some really good arena cards. Mount card, this, it's just incredibly good in arena. Like, this is broken in arena, but ladder, I don't know. It feels like it will just miss that cut. So I'm going to give it a 2 in Standard, a 2 in Wild, but by no means is this a bad card. That's just the way Hearthstone is these days, where like even effectively a 4-mana 4/4 rush +3 attack, like Is that good enough in today's Hearthstone? It's really close. This one I might be kicking myself on only giving it 2, but it's close. It's really close. I just don't know what it fits into. I really just can't put that one down. Next, we have a ridiculous legendary minion that doesn't look ridiculous when you look at it first. It's Cornelius Roame, 6 mana 4/5 neutral legendary. That's it. It's a 6 mana 4/5. But at the start and end of each player's turn, draw a card. So when you drop this, it immediately draws you a card. When your opponent's turn begins, you draw another card. If they don't kill it, you draw another card. Your turn starts, you draw a card, and this is a card draw machine. This thing has to be killed. It has to be. It's a 6 mana 4/5 with taunt, which immediately draws you 2 cards. How is that not insane? Well, most classes have really efficient, good card draw, but a shaman doesn't have, they have Dungeoneer and all that, but I think they would probably want a little bit more. And this is just like, you have to kill this minion. It is ridiculous. I think this card, when I first looked at it, I thought it was bad. And now I'm like, this is like aggro decks or mid-range decks. I would be more mid-range, are like never going to run out of cards. Because at the very worst, it's drawing you 2 cards. And that is just bonkers. I am going to give this a 5 in standard. A 5 card. Like, I just think Hunter can use this. Shaman can use this. A Warlock deck could potentially use this, even though they have life tap. It just, to me, this card seems like neutral card draw heaven, and it has to die. In Wild, I'll give it a 3 because there's just in Wild, this is too slow. Mid-range isn't really a thing in Wild. This is more of a mid-range card, but I feel like in standard, this is just slow enough. Or even like Warrior can run this. Why wouldn't like Rush Warrior? Again, it's just a way of getting cards. It's so ridiculous. You can hand buff this in Warrior. Yeah, so for me, standard 5 stars, a Wild 3, maybe certain decks fit it in, but I think this card low-key is absolutely insane. Next, we have the Druid spell, Best in Shell. It's a tradable spell, so you can trade it for 1 mana, get a card from your deck, put it back in your deck, and you summon 2/2/7 turtles with taunts, like Oasis Snapjaws. That's 4/14 in taunt for 6 mana. That's really good. You can Solar Eclipse this and you get even more. That's pretty good. This might be a consideration in like that Jombre Druid, Spell Druid type of archetype. It's insane when you hit it with Arbor Up. These are now what, like 4, they have 4 attack on them and all that. These scale so well with all the shaman buffs, and don't sleep on this one. I think this card is really good, and I think it will see play in standard. I will give it a 4. I think this sees play in either regular token druid, Jombre Druid, mid-range druid. It's just a great defensive card. It is tradable, so you can always swap it if you want something better. It's just really good. 4 stars in standard, and you have Spreading Plague in Wild, so I'll give it a 2. I don't think this makes the cut at all in Wild. And then we have Shiver Their Timbers, Pirate Warrior card. A warrior card. It's a 1 mana spell, deal 2 damage to a minion, so pretty bad. But if you control pirate, deal 5 instead. I guess you could put this in Pirate Warrior in Wild, but I don't see you ever doing that, and I don't think you're putting it standard. Even though you have like Risky Skipper and all that stuff in Wild, I just think you have better stuff in standard. The pirates aren't that great, and unless we see more pirate support, I have to give this a 2 in standard and a 1 in Wild. I don't know what you're doing with it. Honestly, it's just pretty mediocre removal for a class that doesn't really lack removal. And there you go. That's all the cards that I've seen up to this point. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. We'll have some more tomorrow, so hit that sub button. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Have a great day and stay salty, my friends.